Hey everybody, in this video I'm gonna talk about the purpose of Tao Dude and also why I added on the masculine way to power. So first of all, and then I'm gonna talk about who I am a little bit. So right now I'm sitting, by the way, in Cadiz, Spain at a meditation retreat, which is full on, and it's got me thinking a lot about my own journey and how I could spread or relate what I've done or communicate what I've done, and maybe it'll inspire some of you guys out there to take a look at your own life. So first of all, my name is Mark. I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I run with my wife a Chinese immersion Montessori school for kids. I've got 3 kids of my own, 3 daughters who I love dearly. And growing up, I was an athlete, martial artist, a meditator since early teens. I just translated a book from Chinese to English on meditation. You can check that out. It's called Taoist Internal Mastery. And as a career, before opening this Montessori school, I was a CPA with large companies. I started off at PricewaterhouseCoopers. So I've got the corporate background, and I've got some some entrepreneurial background as well. So why did I name it Tao Dude? Well, Tao Dude, I didn't want to take it so seriously, okay? So that was just fun. But more importantly, the masculine way to power, this is primarily going to be about masculinity. And what I mean is masculinity versus the male ego. First of all, what's that about? And then I'm wanting to relate, in my journey, things I've done to help motivate some of you out there to possibly take a look at yourself and see if there's something you might want out of this. So first of all, what do I mean by the male ego? Okay, I'm telling you, most of us operate in our ego all the time. It's your mental consciousness. It's your ordinary mental consciousness. It's really what you think as you. But at the end of the day, the mental consciousness, it doesn't feel things, right? So if you want to take a look at the darker side of the male ego, it's all about death and destruction. It's also a place that has no connection with people. It's like the male that just wants to go to his cave or the workroom, and work with his tools. It's literally, let's move to Alaska and build a log cabin and live there for the rest of my days, okay? So there's a lot of functionality with the male ego. I mean, we have to operate in the world. For example, my male ego is primarily composed of control, being calculating, and also being strong. Like strong meaning I grew up in Texas, I played football, I went hunting. We just had to be strong as opposed to being vulnerable, right? Which there's strength and vulnerability as well. So the male ego is where we primarily operate out of on a day-to-day basis. And what I'll talk about in a little bit is about how that worked in my relationship, or really how it didn't work. And then, masculinity. What is masculinity? Masculinity, let's call it like the pure male force that is surrounding and all pervasive, available to you as a male. That feels more like openness, gentle. There's still strength, but it's a very soft force. Of course, it can still be very dangerous, but it's not gonna go out of its way to cause harm. In fact, It's like the love you might feel as a father, or those intimate moments with your partner in life where you feel like you would just give anything for that person. I mean, there's clear boundaries as well, but it's a place actually of fullness. So, for example, the male ego wants to look outside itself for fulfillment. It thinks that life is happening over there or somewhere else, like it's better over there with that person as opposed to my person here. Whereas masculinity, if you're operating from this pure place of being in a masculine energy, you're already full and you're already complete. And everything else is just a way of authentically connecting with people or relating that just magnifies that feeling of fullness already. I'll get into that a little bit more, but I want to share a story, personal story about why I created this channel. So in every relationship of mine, until my wife, it had always ended up in breakup, right? And I tell you, honestly, with my current wife, my current beautiful wife, it was headed in the same direction just because of my male ego. And I'll tell you why. So when I would get upset, okay, here are some keys about my male ego, and you should take a look at yours. When I got upset, it was usually for a very good reason. I was justified in being angry, and I was so right. I mean, there's nothing that anybody could tell me to prove to me that actually I wasn't right, because I was so right. But being right and being justified, basically, I would close off to my wife and even my kids. I would just sit there, and as my wife called it, I would be a silent, marauding, dark, quiet male, right? I mean, who wants to live with that? Well, she didn't want to live with that, so she made this final demand. Basically, get your shit together or we're going to get a divorce. Now, that was some hard lesson to learn, because she really meant it. She was totally fed up, and that's what I needed to hear. I needed some real steak, some real meat on the table before a crack could occur. So what do I mean is that growing up, I built all these defensive measures and had no way to really be in a state of total openness. I would achieve these very high states of consciousness and open spaces and feeling of love in meditation retreats over and over again. But when I came out to the world, my male ego kicked back in, and all hell would break loose in my relationship. And finally, after, since a teenager, I'm 43 now, finally, someone who I really care about so deeply in life was about to just cut me out of their life. And, had I not had all of the training I've had in meditation and other personal work, I probably would have just closed off and told her to go F herself and then ended the relationship. But, that's not what I really wanted. So I opened. I literally sat down in meditation and I opened, and a huge amount of love and connection came in to me finally. Like a crack literally happened in my facade. And out of that I realized that I had been closed, truly closed, like not truly stepping into any relationship in life 100%, where you make yourself, and I made myself, not available. So I realized that I had been creating the conditions to feel so alone, and thinking that the world is just a crappy place, and that obviously I'm not in the right place. But these things were all a product of the male ego. So when this crack in my facade happened, I got really present to what's available for me and everything that I want. I could literally just step into a new way of being. And that new way of being is this masculine energy. First of all, it was being vulnerable. I had a lot of making up to do and owning my own stuff, but I'm talking about really putting your heart on your sleeve with the person you care about in your life and your kids, and just letting yourself be open for whatever. Instead of protecting yourself, I was protecting myself. So what ended up happening was I had a major breakthrough. I had a major breakthrough that led to me just walking around now in life feeling very open in the real world, not like in a meditation center retreat. All the time. Feeling connected. Feeling a sense of fullness inside. And that's kind of the short version of it. But at the end of the day, my wife and I and my kids, I've got a relationship now that I've never experienced before in my entire life. Truly filled with so much love and partnership and life together. And so this is what I wanted to get into on this channel a little bit, about how to break through the things that are holding you back in your life as a man, so that you can have that relationship that you've been dreaming about with the partner in your life, or with anybody really. And the result of that is that you're living in a sense of fullness, totally grounded, not being swayed by anybody or any kind of comment, being totally present and just being in a place that is really a great, happy, joyful, easy place to live. I mean, who wouldn't want that? So on this channel, I'm going to share a little bit about my journey, some other things that I've done, such as meditation or martial arts, or ways that prepared me for that moment where I was able to not close, but I was able to open. And when I opened, it's like the sun came out. Kind of like the sun in the background right now is kind of coming out. So thanks for tuning into this channel. I look forward to sharing and to spreading the message that I have, which I really hope you're going to listen to and take to heart, and maybe make some different choices coming up. Okay, so this is the Dow Dude signing off. I'm in Cadiz, Spain right now, okay? It's amazing. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.